All right, everybody, welcome to Bachelor Chad Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about a few different topics like the latest episode of The Bachelor where Colton finally jumped that stupid fence, the women tell all, as well as just some good stuff going on in life. And I got my co-host with me, Renee Ariel.
Woo! You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, you guys! Welcome back to another episode of Bachelor Chad. Chad is fixing his makeshift iPhone stand, so you guys can watch us live on his Instagram channel as well. But wow, hi, Chad.
Totally gonna fall. Hi.
How are you? How was your week?
It was good. It was a little hectic.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you know, you saw the whole thing going on with that girl last week, so.
So I know about that, but I have a question because I received a tweet that I read when I woke up, and it startled me because I thought that this was directed at me. Someone, Samaya, tweeted at us and said,
Fuck.
"Oh no, who's calling you? They need to. We're busy." Samaya said you should clear this situation on Bachelor Chad with Renee Ariel. And I don't know what it is because you said might as well clear it up 13 hours ago, but the link or the status doesn't exist anymore. But she also said, what did you think of Dean calling you a sociopath on his podcast? For 2 seconds, I thought Dean called me a sociopath. And I'm like, when have I ever? Dean?
Right? No, I'm going to have to grab that in a second because otherwise then people are going to do something. But I think Dean is a total asshole. I hate that kid. I spent all this time, coming in, doing his podcast, you know, being nice to him, trying to be nice to him. I tried to be nice to him 2 separate times, actually. So one time, I met him at the Men Tell All.
Okay.
The
Men Tell All?
After his Men Tell All, yeah.
Oh, you were in the audience. I'm like, you guys were on
No, I wasn't in the audience. I lived like a block away from where they all used to party right after the show. And so I was like, what's up, man? My name's Chad. You know, and he was like, who? And I was like, who? I was on the show. Like, I was just saying hi. And he was like, who? And he was just being like, honestly, I thought he was an idiot. I was like, okay, this guy's like, his brain doesn't operate. And then that was all right, though, because then his girl that he was dating from Bachelor in Paradise ended up hitting on me all night. So he didn't see it because he was so
Who hit
drunk.
on you all night?
What was her name?
Christina?
No, the other one.
Oh, my God. Who was the other
Danielle?
one? Danielle hit on you all night?
She was hitting on. If I wanted to, I could have taken that girl. So that's something I never told you, Dean. If you didn't know that, I could have taken your girl home that night.
Oh, my
But
gosh.
I don't like him.
Was this a recent thing where he called you a sociopath?
Yeah, it was. I think it was. I don't remember exactly his words, but I went on to his podcast, you know, him and Vanessa and Jared. And basically, they spent 20 minutes before I got there just like trash talking me. And, you know, like, oh, I can't believe what he did, you know, 3 years ago. And it was just like, first off, get over it. Like, people make mistakes. You know?
Absolutely.
If I talked about all the things that I know that some of those people have done off camera, probably wouldn't like those people as well, you know? So, and then after that, I was super nice on the podcast and everything. But then once I listened to it, I was like, okay, now I see how things were.
Jeez. Do you have anything you'd like? If Dean was here, what would you say to him?
I probably wouldn't say a whole lot.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
I did not like that kid anymore.
That's fair. I feel like when someone talks negatively about you like that, I don't. If someone spoke about me that way, like if he called me a sociopath and that tweet was accurate and at me, I probably wouldn't have much to say to him either.
Especially after, like, let's say I spent 30 minutes here talking to you, being really nice, and then you go and you listen to everything that they're saying when you're there, and then when you're gone, and you're just like, really? Okay, like I didn't have to be nice to you, you know. There's other things I could have said and done, but I went out of my way to try and be polite. But anyway. That's in the past.
In the past. Okay, update me. So what was this original status that you said you might as well?
Oh, so that was the whole Kailyn Clemens thing.
But what happened? This was 13 hours ago, so clearly there was an update.
Well, no. If you look on my Twitter right now, I cleared the whole thing up.
What? Oh, you said might as well. There's a follow up to that, and I just didn't see it.
I created an entire thread. So
what did you? Okay, explain it for the listeners.
Hold on. While you're doing that, let me grab this and just turn it off.
I'll tell you guys about my week
unprofessional, but
as he does this, I have not been able to stop thinking about The Bachelor ever since it happened, which we will talk to you about today. But that has been my life. That and work. I just can't stop thinking about Colton jumping over that fence. I cannot. That was actually the most dramatic episode of The Bachelor that has ever happened, and I'm not just saying that. I'm sure you guys who have seen the episode can agree with me on this. But before we dive into all of that business, we really I want to know, because I missed this. I was tweeted at, but after the fact, so I didn't know you cleared it up. I'm reading your thread now, but will you explain to the listeners what you cleared up and what happened?
So I'm waiting to explain to fully really get in depth.
Jesus! Yeah. Chad, there's so many tweets. Are you kidding me?
It was quite a thread because the thing was this girl started making me look stupid.
Okay, tell me from the beginning. So from where we left off, you cleared the air. You said, I didn't say she was my girlfriend. I said we were hanging out. You were talking about how you were at a party, whatever. So what happened after that, after our show wrapped?
So after the show wrapped, basically, I let it be done. We didn't really do anything. And then all of a sudden, I start seeing that she's doing TV shows. I start seeing that she's doing interviews. And I'm like, oh, okay. But the thing is, in the interview, she's like, I've never talked to him. I've never dated him. I don't know what he's talking about. It's just bizarre. And I was like, okay.
What? So she's just trying to make you look crazy.
Right. And that's the thing. And like, whoever's calling me, I'm going to kill. And that was the thing. Like, I was really, like, first off, like, okay, you're probably making me look stupid when you're doing that just in like your group chat with the other Bachelor girls or whatever. Yeah. That's annoying and that's stupid. Maybe it's gonna hurt me, affect me with them. Yeah, I think it was probably my ex-girlfriend that gave out my phone number to a bunch of little kids.
Oh no.
But anyway, that's one thing. Whenever you're telling a whole bunch of people within the show, like, okay, you're cutting me off from them, but now that you're doing like all this press, where you're reaching like an entire country of people, you're hitting 50 different radio stations all across Canada. Now I got to say something, like, your shampoo's still in my bathroom, so you're not gonna like make me look like I'm just a lying, absolutely insane idiot. Like, your stuff's still in my house from when you stayed there for 3 days straight.
Oh my gosh, that's so shady. Listen,
yeah,
I get, and I will say in Caitlyn's defense of the original, like, hey, I don't really want this out there, whatever, because to each their own. Like, if you really want to keep it a secret and be shady, by all means, go for it. But then when you start to make the other person look like they just made this up completely, that's not okay. And that does kind of deserve a little bit of a clapback.
And that's why, if she had just said, like, yeah, we were talking a little bit or something, but it's not that serious, I'd have been like, that's fine.
Yeah, totally.
But now you're making it sound like I'm just blatantly psychotic, making this entire thing up. And it's like, now you're affecting all of my relationships around the world now that you're going and doing this press tour. And it's like, did you not think they were going to ask my side of the story? Because the day after you went on there, I hopped on there now and said, yeah, that's not the case.
Kailyn, wasn't a good idea. Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I was supposed to have a date on Friday, and I got blown off.
Why did you get blown off?
Well, he like planned a 5-hour date. Like, he was like, we'll see this movie. We'll go to the karaoke bar. We're going to go ice skating. And I'm like, great. And then the day of, and to be honest, I was not feeling that well, so I was kind of hoping he would cancel. But then when I hadn't heard from him, I was like, hey. And then he said something along the lines of like, hey, I was just talking about you, LOL. I was like, okay, like, what's up?
Yeah.
Are we still, I wasn't sure if we were still hanging out. And then he said, oh yeah, I'm so sorry, there's no excuse for it. I just kept delaying it. And I was like, okay, why?
Wait, he kept delaying it or he keeps delaying it? Because he's still in...
Kept delaying it. I'll read you the text. It was very odd, and then it ended, and here's the awkward part. So he may or may not work at a gym that I go to. So I see him.
Now you gotta see him.
Yeah, so literally he was like...
That's the worst. Yeah, you gotta really like somebody if you're gonna go for them, and they're at the gym.
Totally. So he was like,
that's one thing I do not do. I do not hit on people at the gym.
Totally my fault. I honestly kept delaying reaching out. What are you doing? And I said, why did you delay it? He goes, I've just been studying all day and then had to run routes. Both excuses. I should have texted you way earlier. So I said, no worries. And then he didn't answer, and I've avoided eye contact with him every day I've gone to the gym because I'm like,
you just said no worries, and he was...
Never answered, but he was and like nothing, we hadn't seen each other in between, and it was like a day later he started acting weird.
How did you meet? Did you meet at the gym?
At the gym.
So was it just like a slow thing, or was it like...
Yeah.
What's
like,
up?
There was some like flirting, and then it led to exchanging information.
He's at the front desk.
No, he's
like, I'm just always curious, because whenever I see a girl working out, and then I see a guy like walk up to her, I'm like, oh, don't do it, bro.
He's a membership advisor.
Okay.
That's how I got a pretty 10 days free at this pretty nice gym, if I do say so.
I feel like you can get those online. I feel like you do.
No, this is one of the nice gyms.
Oh, okay.
This is the gym that you think it might be.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Anyways, God, I hope he doesn't listen to this. But yeah, so it was just super awkward. And he
He's gonna.
watches all my stories.
He's definitely going to watch this now.
Oh no!
But that's a bit of a dick move, like,
right?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've done it before, where like maybe he just didn't want to feel in the mood, and he was kind of hoping you would cancel, and then you didn't, and so, but still, he should have given like an explanation.
But he planned. This is the crazy part. Like he planned this. Like I wasn't like, hey, let's spend 5 hours together. He told me, let's do this, let's do this, and let's do this. And on Friday night, I'll pick you up, whatever. And then
That's a lot of plans.
So many plans for someone that you're gonna be wishy-washy with on the
right?
day of.
That's really, I like to like under-promise and under-deliver. Yeah. So I'll be like, we're going to go to a really nice dinner. And then I'll be like, all right, you get a burger and 1 beer. And then we'll get some vodka at my apartment. Like,
wow, so romantic.
Under-promise, under-deliver.
But instead, just very full of disappointment. It was so weird. And then I'm like, you know what? I feel like I'm going to stop dating for a while.
See, one of the things you might have thought about too, now I know you met in person, but so like he might have shot out that same offer to like 5 other chicks.
Possible.
You know what I mean?
To be honest, and I will admit this, when we originally kind of started seeing each other, we went on a date. Right. We kind of kept in touch, and then I did blow him off one of the second dates.
Oh, he got you back.
But I did tell him like, hey, so sorry. Like I didn't. Again, it was one of those like I wasn't sure if we were still on, but I canceled way earlier. And then I went away for a while. So then we were coming back to this, and then I actually signed up for the gym. Because originally it was a trial. So I think part of it's like, if anything were to go wrong, we see each other all the time. To be fair.
Right.
Still not okay to do, and don't
date one of his
blow
friends.
people up.
I'm sure he's a gym guy. He's got friends that look like him.
Should I just follow up with that?
Honestly, if you look at guys at the gym, their gym partners or like friends,
Yeah.
they always like they have the same look, they have the same body.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
That's I'll be like, hey, who's your gym buddy? Do you have his number?
Do you have any gym buds? It's not bad.
But outside of our own dating lives, there was The Bachelor this week. That was. Would you say that this episode, or this week, because I know we had Women Tell All, but let's flash back to Monday. Would you say that was truly the most dramatic episode ever?
I mean, I feel like parts of it were. I feel like the first 45 minutes were the most. I just scanned through it. I mean, Tayshia's whole thing, I was God. I mean, she's like a nice girl, but I was just like, I just don't care.
Did you see, though, how awkward it was the next morning with them? Or did you skip through that
I watched a teeny bit. I watched like for 10 seconds because I wanted to see like them waking up. Like, is she going to say like, whoa,
did she get the
non-sex was good?
I loved the kissing and the touching under my sweater. It was a lot of fun.
Right.
I feel like...
Was it really weird? Do you think they did anything?
I think so what I was talking about with my friends last night, I don't think they did anything. I think when she said...
Why would you not do anything?
Because I think he told her he was going to pick Cassie. Because the way she woke up seemed like she's like, okay... I gotta rally because I could still be the Bachelorette. Like she's like, I gotta play the part. I'm not gonna, throw him under the bus. He was honest with me because I do think that's the most respectful way you could truly dump them is without cameras, or be Ari and make it part of the show after you choose her. But I think something like super weird went down that night. Yeah,
probably so. Then because that would be weird to just like go ahead and fool around and get all handsy and stuff, and then like 2 days later you're like, sorry.
Bye, sorry. I told Cassie I wanted her the whole time. Yeah, something, I don't know, that was awkward. But the meat of the episode, and I didn't know that this was going to be with Cassie. I kind of assumed so, but when she was a second fantasy date, I'm like, oh, so maybe shit's going to go down with Hannah G, because Hannah G hasn't had her
Did they even show Hannah G?
No, because the poor girl sleeping in her little room, like, Colton and I are going to get married, meanwhile has no idea.
About the whole Cassie thing?
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Crazy. Wow. That was weird. I kept looking for her. It was only Tayshia and Cassie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The whole time.
Cassie they actually played it in order. I think if this didn't go down, they would have pretended like Hannah G's date was first. But she's not going to have a date. There's no goddamn way this girl's going to have a date after what happened with Cassie. Yeah,
what are they going to do? Just be like he's going to wake her up and be like, hey, not really vibing right now.
I've been thinking about Cassie the whole time I've been with you, so...
Yeah, you kind of look like her. Like, you're both blonde, you have white teeth, so...
Did you, so kind of knowing the behind the scenes, do you think Colton broke like several contracts in this episode?
I don't really think so. I mean, I think if anything, there's some things I think in that show that like they don't want you to do, but when you do them, they're also kind of like, yeah. You know, so like he ran away, and obviously that's kind of a no-no, because imagine if he ran away and went and like there was a barbed wire fence, like just sliced his wrists open.
Oh my God!
Just grinded it down. Okay, that's horrible, but
I'm just saying, but that he could have gotten
like,
hurt.
That would be a very, very bad thing, and they would be on the hook for very, very large things. So
yeah.
I think that's why they're like, Colton, you know, like in real life, you'd be like, well, let's just give him a few minutes. But like knowing how sad he was, and then knowing he's out in the middle of nowhere, and like who knows what this kid could do.
Yeah.
You know, this virgin kid who the only girl you ever wanted to have sex with just left him.
I know.
Like,
God, it was so sad because he was clearly so excited to lose his V card that night. He was like lighting candles. He was like, I know I'm in love with her. Tonight's the night. And then had his heart broken.
That's a little bit sad, right? Like he finally decides to do it. He was probably so horny.
Oh my, for sure.
About that, he was probably sitting there. She's crying on his shoulder, and he was just hard as a rock. Like,
I know. I mean, honestly, they didn't even go to dinner. They were at the place, weren't they? Isn't that where they were going to stay?
They sat in the chairs, and they talked there. Then they got up, they walked, they went back to the chairs. It was a lot of just sitting, and it's like from the minute they sat down, I feel like she already knew what she was going to do.
Oh, she did. Well, I think a lot of it had to do with her dad kind of validating her already confused mind. Me too. He's
so straight up.
He's so straight up, and I had people disagree with me on this, but I don't think he was trying to dictate what she did. I think he just wanted his daughter to be happy, could sense she wasn't all in, and wanted to really figure out how she was feeling. He was like the me of this
season, I feel like. Like he was the one that was like, really? You're actually going to do this?
Yeah.
Like, are you sure? You know, and it was their second relationship ever, right? Like she had one boyfriend before him. I think
so.
And then she's going to go hop into this.
I mean, that is a big commitment. And then just the way she was talking about it with her dad seems like it was more than just not wanting the commitment of, getting engaged, but also when you're that uncertain about someone, it seemed like she wasn't even sure about Colton to begin with.
I just feel like she likes him as a friend, man. I just feel like he's friend zoned. Like, you got this beautiful girl that's like dating like cool, chill, like surfer guys that are probably just running through girls. Like that's what she likes. She lives down in Huntington Beach. It's like,
she's stunning.
The girls down there are all 12s. Okay, props out to my girls at Huntington Beach. But that's what she's dealing with. She's dealing with these cool guys that that know their way around and how to speak to women and how to treat them like a way that turns them on. And then it's like they send her to hang out with this just like virgin football boy, and she's kind of like, I like you, like I love you, but
God, that was the most
just not doing
painful part was when she said, like, I love you, and his eyes light up, and she goes, but I'm just not like in love with you.
Yeah.
Every heart just.
That was pretty bad.
It was really hard to watch, but
yeah, because he got all excited for half a second, and then it was
half a second, man. I feel bad for Colton because like the dude is the Bachelor and he keeps getting dumped.
Right? He's got dumped like 5 times on his own season.
Dumped. That does not happen on this show. Maybe once.
I feel like it's starting to happen a lot more. It's like every season, like they add 1 or 2 more that start dumping them now.
But this is a whole new level. Like the fact that a top 3 contestant left is insane to me. And then I've been saying this for a while that I thought he was pretty set on picking Cassie. I thought he's been set on it for a while. And he made that so clear this episode with telling her, like, it's been you. I want to end up with you at the end of this. And then he starts slowly lowering his standards. He was like, it doesn't matter if your dad didn't say yes. It's okay. I still love you. And then it's like, I was only going to pick you. We don't have to get engaged. We can just date. I feel like he was going to end up being like, we can just date non-exclusively. We'll just be, we'll be friends.
We could just hang out. Maybe like if you just want to kiss like once a week, like you can date other guys. Yeah, it definitely seemed like that. He kept lowering the bar until eventually it was going to be like, I just want to like maybe smell your hair once.
Yeah. Roommates just want to be like roommates. We'll just hang out. I'll live next door. It made me sad because in that moment, he was not the Bachelor. He was just a poor guy in love with someone that did not love him him back.
At the end of the day, that's what I always end up talking about a lot is that like they keep making these guys the Bachelors or keep bringing these guys on the Bachelor that just they don't date. They don't really know how to deal with girls. And it's like you're putting these beautiful girls in there that are dating like guys, a man's man, and then they're just putting them in there with these kind of nerds that are basically like The girls can fake it for a while, and they can like, yeah, you can fall in love because they're good guys, but they're just not getting out of them the same feelings that like a man's man can give them.
See, I disagree on like, I think Colton as a nerd or whatever, like that's fine. He can even be more feminine, whatever. He can be scared of crabs on the beach, as we saw in the bloopers. My whole thing is he doesn't know who he is yet, so you sense that lack of confidence in him. And I think that being a virgin is an insecurity of his, so he like overcompensates by making weird comments that make you uncomfortable as a viewer. So I think that's what actually turns people off, is like his lack of certainty and his lack of confidence.
Right, he can't just be himself.
Yeah,
you know, that's another thing. Like he can't just be himself. You can't just hug him when he hugs. It's like everything's very like, come here.
Yeah,
you know, like
you can't think in your head like, oh, I'm not good enough to be loved, because that will just be projected onto everyone. Right. And
and it's a hive mind on The Bachelor. So the minute you start doing that, I'm sure there are comments in the background like, he kind of sucks. You know what I mean? Once that starts to take off, it's just going to snowball from there.
100%.
That's why you don't ever want a girl to see you hit on another girl and fail. That's a big no-no.
Good advice with Chad. Don't fail in front of another girl when you're hitting on a different girl. Yeah, I really felt for him this morning, but I know a lot of people were saying they were getting mad at Cassie, saying she was wrong for doing this, or they're just mad at her for doing this. What are your thoughts on Cassie, I guess, leaving this late in the process? Are you upset with her?
I mean, I'm not upset with her, but I think she knew. She just kind of wanted to see what would happen. And she honestly, I don't know. I don't know whether to say that like maybe she like really thought about it through and really tried, but that she just wasn't feeling it, or was she just riding it out, like eventually hoping he wouldn't like her, and it would be real easy to go home. You know,
my theory that I had was it wasn't until hometowns that she realized she was probably going to win, and that's when she completely freaked herself out. I think she always
thought the last few episodes she changed.
She absolutely flipped, because she was like, I'm on the edge. I think it was the second that like she got the rose on that group date where she was clearly targeted and being called out for not being ready. Haha, look at what happened. But I think from there she was like, oh man, he's gonna pick me, isn't he?
Yeah, because if you know, she did no flirting with him after like the last 2 episodes, I would say. It was literally like her sitting like there, like almost like stop.
Yeah.
It's like when you're hitting on a girl and you're too drunk, and she's like, just
no.
I like you, but like nah, stop. Not tonight.
Even the way she said, like the way when Colton told her that her father said he didn't give him permission or his blessing. Even the way she reacted there was, it just showed I think she was waiting for a sign to leave for the last couple of episodes.
Yeah, and then her dad coming in was just like,
that was the final. I mean, to be honest,
it was almost her clear out. She's like, well, now it's on my dad.
100%, because
it's not me.
Have you never done that when you're in a relationship and you're like, I don't know if I want to be in this, so you just want an out, like any out, and you don't know how to. You just need it. So the second you have one, you're like.
See, I wait for the girl to do something that, like, as a person, maybe I'm not strong enough to stand up for myself, but she did something so bad that, like, as a man, I don't have a choice. So I try to, like, put her in situations to make very stupid decisions, to be like, well, as a man, you just did that, and I do.
No, that's so bad. Here's the thing.
It works.
Not all of us are good at breakups. I was saying that I'm similar to Cassie, where I'm really, when there's not a clear reason, and it's a feeling, I'm really bad at vocalizing that feeling and then being very clear and then leaving. Right. I would also, and this is so bad, and my panel was like, Renee, I might also ask, like, are you mad at me because you just feel bad doing it? I'm not a good breaker upper.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean.
I like to push them away if I really want to break up.
Yeah, wow, really good healthy tips on the Bachelor Chad podcast.
If you're looking to break up, make a whole lot of mistakes, and then they think it was their decision. Now, it's not very good if you're trying to date their friends, but it takes the weight right off.
Great advice. Really like to help out the community, everyone listening.
There's like 30 girls in Oklahoma that think they broke up with me. Did you?
Oh my God, Chad. But let's move on. So what do you think, before we get into Women Tell All, we had the fence jump of him after she leaves, he completely loses his mind, jumps over the fence. Why do you think he jumped over the fence?
Why do I think he jumped over the fence because he was probably going to go cry really hard, I bet. And he honestly didn't want him to record it.
Oh.
Like, nothing wrong with that, man. Dudes cry sometimes. But, like, if I were him, I would have jumped the fence, too. Because he knew, that's why he went to the bathroom. And then what happened was he went to the bathroom and he could hear him rustling around outside because you could see the cameraman still sitting there.
Yeah.
So he was like, nah, screw this. I got to get out and gone. You know, I tried to do that in the Bachelorette house, actually, and they chased me.
What?
Yeah.
You went to go cry?
No, I didn't go to cry. I was upset. I mean, it was emotions, a lot of emotions, and I like ran into this little like foresty area, and sure enough, the next thing like 5 camera guys show up, and I was like, man, like give me like 5 seconds, you know? Well, there was a fence. I probably should have just jumped in.
Do you think you could jump the same fence that Colton jumped?
Yeah, for sure. That wasn't that high.
Yeah, me too.
I jumped one of those when the girl I was dating from the UK, Sarah Harding, she had like probably like a twice as high fence. And I had to jump that sucker at 3 a.m. And I did the exact same thing, actually, except there were no cameras present.
Why did you jump it?
It was a very crazy week.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, I think
It was for the best. I had to get out of there until I realized it's 3 a.m. and I'm running down the street. I can't see 1 inch in front of my face.
Oh, my
What's
God.
going to happen? Where am I going to go? And be like, I didn't have my phone. Like, I'm going to go like find some British people. Like, hey, guys, they're going to be like, what do you want me to help you with? I don't know where to go. I'm on TV sometimes.
Sometimes. I think, to be honest, I think he jumped over the fence because he was really, really upset. Well, obviously he was upset, but I think he was really upset with production because as soon as she said that that her dad came, and the way he could sense like this was a breakup, he looked up at the producers with this face of just so much anger.
I hear that they're actually going to do something next episode that they don't normally do.
Whoa. Don't tell me.
Well, it's just, I'm saying he's gonna confront the production, I think.
Oh, really?
I think he's gonna get mad at Chris Harrison. He's gonna get mad at the production and all them because they brought his dad and he didn't tell. You know, they knew her dad wasn't coming to say, "Hey, go ahead and go through with it." You know what I mean?
They made it worse for him. Like he was played.
Right.
Okay. Do you want to hear my theory of what's gonna happen next episode? And don't spoil it with me. No. Don't spoil it for me if you know.
Sure.
I think what's gonna happen is next episode he's gonna have to confront everyone, break up with Hannah and Tayshia, and then I think he's gonna go to Huntington Beach, be like, listen, I just want to date you. Think about it in 2 weeks. If you want to date me too, meet me in the fucking, I don't know where they're gonna go, somewhere outside of the country,
Pretty ocean,
by a cliff, where I'm not gonna propose to you, but you'll be my girlfriend. Show up if you want, and then it's gonna be it's gonna be a never been kissed moment where he's like waiting for her, and then she's gonna show up, and then the music's gonna play. That's my guess. If they don't do it like that, please hire me as a producer on The Bachelor because that's
exactly
genius.
what's gonna happen. Honestly,
I would love that.
I think it's.
If not, though, please
pretty,
hit me
pretty
up.
cold given. Like, what else could he possibly do?
He can't end up with either of them.
You can't end up with Tayshia. Like,
and he seems too happy and too much not of a virgin anymore to not be with her. You know, he seems like he's not a virgin. He seems like he's sorry. He seems like he's not a virgin anymore when he makes appearances.
In his brain? Oh, you mean like
you
now?
You can tell, like confidence-wise, going on Women Tell All, like that dude's not a virgin anymore.
That's true.
But speaking of which, I guess
he's also probably not poor anymore too.
Well, that's
not that I know how much he has, but I'm just saying, what did he do before the show? I have
no
idea.
Oh yeah, he has his fundraiser, and then I don't know what else he does. He was a football player, but
yeah, he did the wine, and then I'm sure
wine.
He's got a wine line that supposedly a portion of the proceeds go to charity, but who knows what the portion is? And then he's got his own actual charity, which you still pay yourself a salary out of that. So
yeah,
what's your salary?
Yeah,
90% of the income. Who knows these things? I'm just always a little bit skeptical about those types of things.
No, I get you. What did you think of last night's Women Tell All?
I thought it was really ridiculous, honestly. There was a bunch of blabbering and jabbering, and I didn't really... I mean, I fast forward through a lot of the parts, but I didn't think there was any, like, context. Nobody really had anything to say. It was just like, here's some more tears. I had my heart broken. Here's some more tears. I had my heart broken. And then we had the incident with the pacifier.
Oh, that was...
Demi.
That was
dumb,
up.
You
can't do that.
I heard that she just tossed it out. She shoved it in her face.
She fully shoved it in her face. In her mouth. It got in her mouth.
That's pretty screwed up.
That's not okay.
I don't know if they would have told her to do that. I think they might have been I think they might have said maybe go mess with her in the face,
and then
or
she
something.
Fully...
And they were probably like, oh, yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like after, after I walked into the little room or whatever when all my people were in there on The Bachelorette, and I told Jordan Rogers I was going to find him. Because I was sitting there, right, and I was listening to them. They're all having a conversation, pretending like I'm not 8 feet away in the kitchen staring at them.
Yeah.
Talking about how I was a horrible person. And finally I was like, man, I got to do something. I'm going to look real stupid because they're just talking trash about me on national television to 10 million people. So then I did that and told him I was going to find him after the show.
Oh no.
And like I walked back to the kitchen smiling, like, you know, like I wasn't actually like extremely angry. I was just kind of like, all right, maybe that'll work. But they,
oh no.
they like I looked at them, I caught their eyes with them, you know, with the radio earpieces, and they were like,
oh no.
It's like, oh man. And I was like, what was that? I was like, was that bad? Did I do bad?
I remember that. That was not good.
Yeah. They were like, they like, I think a couple of them like left the kitchen like.
Oh my God, Chad.
Yes, that was sealed my fate there. I don't know. I thought it would just shut him up.
The thing is, if we make a mistake like that in real life, no one sees it and we learn from it and we move on. But on TV, you have to live with that same mistake forever, and then everyone's opinions on it. So I get it.
I still feel like I'm living with all these mistakes. Like, I'm still having to deal with the fact that, like, you know, because I've dated multiple girls within that franchise now, and it's like I'm still dealing.
Who have you dated in that franchise?
Well, you already know one. We just talked about it earlier.
I know one, but I don't know any of the other ones.
There's a few of the other ones, but none of them ever want to talk. Like, they always want to keep me in the quiet. You know what I mean? Like I'm still the bad guy or something.
Yeah, that's
and
not
it's
okay,
like,
though.
really? Like, why didn't you tell me that up front? You know? Like I'm still having to deal with that. And I tweeted it like Mike Fleiss to them. I was like, yo, like, come on, guys. Like, give me another shot or something, because I'm having to deal with this like stigma that like we put out from 3 years ago from some stuff that like, yeah, I made a lot of the choices, but you know, like a lot of those people were pushed to antagonize me because they wanted to see me lose my shit.
Yeah.
And then I did, and then it's like now that's what I'm known for, and it's like, I don't know, but I guess that's also on the girls themselves. You know, if you're really like you care that much, you know, if this girl's going and doing these radio shows all over the country saying like, I wish it was like, she literally was like, I wish it was someone else, you know, it'd have been nice. And I'm like, really? Like, it would have been nice to know that 2.5 months ago, you know, when we started talking.
That's
Speaking
okay.
of which, I will be in Toronto on Monday to clear things up.
Oh my God.
So tune into Breakfast Toronto if you're able to watch that. I'm sure you can follow them on Twitter.
Yeah,
I'm going to clear that whole
Good,
situation
clear that up, because I will say that's really not cool.
Yeah.
But you know what's also not cool? Kailyn lying on Women Tell All. Let me tell
What'd she
you,
lie
I
about?
think she's a liar. So in Women Tell All, Katie's the one that sparked that whole women warning Colton about girls being there for the wrong reasons, specifically Kailyn and Cassie. She never named names. She just warned Colton.
Wait, you said Kerpa, right? Kerpa's the one that warned?
Kerpa and Katie. And during the episode, Katie was asked, because she apparently heard this conversation about with Cassie and Kailyn talking about wanting to be the Bachelorette or wanting to win and be the Bachelorette.
Oh, and she was vague about it, right?
Vague about it, but on the actual Women Tell All, she talked about it. She's like, yeah, the conversation did happen. Because first, Kailyn tried playing it. First, Kailyn, I think thought she was not going to bring it up at all, because she goes, yeah, Katie, I wish you would have named names, because it affected all of our relationships. And then Chris Harrison's like, okay, Katie, who was it? And she's like, Kailyn and Cassie. So I don't think Kailyn was expecting that.
She thought she would hold back and like, oh, since I don't have the Bachelorette edit, you're not going to say this.
100%. So then Katie was like, yeah, you guys talked about like winning and wanting to be the Bachelorette and sliding into Dean's DMs and all of this stuff. She's like, I think things are...
I don't get that Dean. I don't get the Dean.
He's cute. I get it. But like,
cute, but
he's like
he's 10.
People, love him. But anyways... so she called her out completely, and then Kailyn tried playing it as if she's like, no, what I said was that, listen, Cassie's my best friend, so I said, if you don't get engaged, I said, get engaged, not win, then I pray for you to be the Bachelorette. And Cassie said the same thing. And both Katie and Kerpa were like, that's not what happened. We just talked on the phone. That's not what you said. Because she tried saying that. Katie also agreed that that's how it went down. So they all disagreed. And then Katie goes, this is the kind of manipulation that Hannah B's been talking about. Crazy!
Wow.
And now I believe Hannah B and I think Kailyn was the mean girl.
I saw the girl in the back was like, whenever they brought it up about like Hannah B agreeing with Katie and Kerpa.
That girl, who is she? Jane?
Who Jane? Is that who that was?
Who's Jane? Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it back to remember her name because who's Jane?
I had no idea who like half of those girls were, honestly.
She must have just been drunk, and that's why she was so outspoken, because it blows my mind that girl was like, I get she wants to go to paradise, but you're still not going to go to paradise,
still
Jan.
thirsty.
Jan.
I have to hop in real quick, guys, because I'm also a super fan. This is Jeff in the booth.
Yeah.
There's always one girl who tries to make herself the star, and she's like, Colton, what we had was real. He's like, I sent you 5 minutes into the show.
Seriously, and that was Jane last night, except just thirsty for the drums. But
I feel it was just a lot of yelling. It was
so
just
much yelling.
So much yelling. There was like not even, I feel like, a lot of context. It was just, they were all just yelling at once. And I don't know. It's the show has gone crazy and crazier and crazier over the years to where ABC is almost now MTV.
Yeah, I was gonna say Women Tell All.
MTV is now like Jerry Springer. It's like all the shows
shifting.
are just
But especially Women Tell All. Like I couldn't watch the first. I mean, the first 15 minutes were so hard to watch because first of all, to be honest with you guys, I could care less about Onyeka and Nicole's drama. Like who cares? I just don't. Why do we have to watch that?
I didn't even know who Nicole was.
She left with Onyeka.
Is Onyeka the one? Wait, is she the one that threw the pacifier at Demi?
No, that's Courtney threw the pacifier in Demi's mouth. Onyeka, I forget what color dress she was wearing. She is the one that, I mean, her and Nicole had that whole drama in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I just didn't care. And then I thought Demi was pretty funny throughout the episode. I thought she did a good job. Courtney was annoying. Jane was annoying. And I think Kailyn's fake. And I think Hannah B got the Bachelorette edit. That's my tea.
I definitely think so too. Wasn't it? They already, the Bachelor ABC, their Instagram already put a picture of Hannah saying like, to the second chances. Yeah.
Oh my God, let me see that.
Pretty sure, right?
Because, sorry, but there's nothing.
I mean, they announced it basically on their Instagram. They didn't announce it, but.
There's nothing funnier than watching Kailyn try so hard to be the Bachelorette and like crying so hysterically.
She cried twice, 2 or 3 times, didn't she?
She's trying so hard to be Bachelorette. I'm like, girl, Hannah might have already gotten it, and she got the edit. Like, Kailyn didn't get a good edit.
Kailyn had it until she called the girl a stupid bitch, and it was pretty much down the hill from there.
See, I think I think she just became shady throughout the season.
I mean, obviously it's not because of that she said that, but I think that was kind of the point at which everybody knew she was being a bit worse, and so because the worse you are, the worse your edit changes. So I mean, it's not like if you're let's say you're being good the entire time, but she just threw out one, hey, that girl's a stupid bitch. They're not going to air that because that's not like really the way you were. You know?
Interesting.
So it's like if you start, all of a sudden you started being like dirty and dirtier and dirtier.
But she.
Exactly. So that's mine. So it's like in the back in the day, I'd be like, the edits were all crazy, but it's like the edit actually like kind of flows. Like,
interesting.
If you're just a shitty person, you will get a shitty edit.
Do you think Kailyn is the liar?
Kailyn?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, because I know some
100%.
people.
I don't trust that girl, just her face.
I don't trust her at all. Even the way she was rolling her eyes throughout the episode. And then I loved when there was 2 girls being like, that didn't happen. We just talked on the phone.
Yeah.
And she was like, you're both lying. I don't know why you're lying. No, they're not.
I mean, you got to stick to D3. Deny, deny, deny.
Deny, deny, deny.
Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, she wasn't going to own up to it.
She can deny all the way to paradise. Because that girl's not going to be the Bachelorette.
Yeah. Well, she's not going to do Paradise. She'll probably wait, thinking maybe next year, and then.
I don't think she'll do Paradise.
That's how it works. She'll think she's going to do something amazing or something. A lot of them, once they get off of their, and even a lot of the guys, if they don't become the Bachelor, they take those top 3 guys, they don't end up going to Paradise. They like sit around for a year or 2 and then realize, I'm an idiot. I should have done it. And then they end up coming back.
That's like a Jason, right? A Jason or a Blake.
Yeah,
Jason
exactly.
and Blake, they do all the things.
I don't know if maybe they told him to wait around for a little bit, and just in case they wanted him to be the Bachelor, let's say all the guys on this next season just totally suck. Maybe it could be, one of them. So I don't know if they tell him to do that. I obviously wasn't being chosen for the Bachelor, so I don't know how that worked.
If Hannah B does get chosen as the Bachelorette, do you think you'll like her as a Bachelorette? Or is there another pick you'd rather have?
I think she'll be all right. At the end of the day, the Bachelor or the Bachelorette is just somebody pretty to look at while you learn about other people.
So true. That's what I said. But to be honest, I prefer girl drama over guy drama. So my favorite season's The Bachelor because I love watching these girls go at it. I think it's so. Like the guy drama is like, I love her. I just thought, you know what I mean? Like I can't get into it. But the girl drama is like, I'm gonna pretend to be your friend and then I'm gonna backstab. I love it. It's a fun dance that I get into for reality TV. In real life, no, but I love it for reality TV.
It is really good. I don't know. I don't know which parts. I just like seeing people. All I care about is seeing people that like are real.
Yeah.
Or like for me right now in this season, one of the things that annoys me is they're constantly the way that they speak about everything that they're feeling, and they're like, people don't speak like that.
No one speaks like that.
Dude, just talk. It's not that hard. Like, you're not reading a script written by, I can't think of a director's name who's a big director, but think of a famous director. It's not a script by that guy. It's literally just you saying how you're feeling. And like, As long as you don't say like some horrible curse words or like something you're not supposed to say, you'll be okay. Doesn't have to be worded perfectly. It's literally not a pageant. Like,
but that's the thing for Kailyn, it definitely was.
It is, and
that's ever since that apology moment or that making peace moment with Hannah B. I'm like, that girl's fake. I believe Hannah B. Ever since that moment, earlier on, I believed Kailyn, but I think it became apparent how fake she was throughout the season, especially when she kept crying when she went home as 4th place. Like, just stop it. Also, wait, one more thing I have to say before we wrap. Let me tell you something. She said in an interview that she flies to see her BFF Cassie once a week. First of all, that's crazy. You're from North Carolina.
Kailyn said that?
Kailyn said she flies to see her BFF Cassie from Huntington Beach once a week. Wait, it gets better. This girl cries hysterically on Women Tell All, saying, I'm still in love with them, I'm so hurt, I'm so... Crying hysterically, yet can be best friends with maybe, we think, Colton's now possible girlfriend. That doesn't add up, you guys. Everything
where is she
about
flying
her,
from?
North Carolina.
That's expensive flight.
That's insane. This girl does
You're
not
spending what,
make sense.
$5,000 a month?
She has
How many
to.
months? Like,
Once a week is crazy. She said that in an interview. And I just don't think, to be honest, if you're that heartbroken, Kailyn, if you're that sad, if that was your person.
Are they doing Instagram sponsorships yet?
Not yet. I don't think so. Maybe. I'll have to check. But
maybe they went ahead and signed some deals in place because
maybe there was Southwest.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still, I mean, maybe they're signing deals in advance because
it's possible.
You know, like, hey, toss me 10 and I'll.
Yeah, I'll do it.
2 months from now, once we start doing that, I'll start getting into it. But
yeah, I don't know. That to me doesn't make sense. But that pretty much wraps up everything going on today.
Yeah,
but
I think we covered quite a lot.
There was a lot going on, but we're not done tonight.
We're not. Oh, we're not done.
We are
going to the Tomorrow Show.
The Tomorrow Show with Keven Undergaro.
Going to the Tomorrow Show with Keven Undergaro. You guys be sure to check it out. You can look that up on YouTube, everywhere. Also, be sure to check me out on Breakfast Toronto coming Monday.
And follow me at Renee Ariel on Instagram and Twitter, where I'll be every day.
And make sure to subscribe to the podcast at Apple iTunes, where you can find it under Bachelor Chat. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.